on the set just for the mics and stuff. And now the animation, right? We're doing the opening animation video. And we are live here from Nevada County Resilience and Innovation Hub. And it's been almost a year since we've actually been live on the air. And I think over that course of time, a lot of things have changed and are continuing to change in the world. But welcome to the reemergence of the Golden Road TV show. I'm your host, Michael DiMartino, and just really happy to be back here in the green screen room at the Resilience Hub here in Nevada County. And we have a lot of great guests. I also have someone I'd like to introduce in a moment. We have a new co-hostess and lots of great things coming up. As you know, Golden Road TV show is a magazine format. So over the next hour, we're going to have interviews, videos, music. In the future, we're going to actually be able to do interviews with people all around the world and continue to bring you high-level broadcast content around the areas of health and wellness, peace and justice, the environment and ecology, and many other topics that are important to regenerative and resilient communities. With that, I would like to introduce, we actually met a few months ago through some of her work and my involvement with the Nevada County People's Assembly, but I'd like to introduce to the show co-hostess, Raina Satori.
Hi, Michael.
Wow.
Hi,
you brought
everybody.
your own cheering section.
Hi, watchers. Yeah, it's important that you have your own cheering section for sure. Makes everything better. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited about this. And I'm excited to bring lots of interesting, fun, and engaging content to all you watchers out there. I know how hard it is to get any good information out there these days, and I know that you are doing your best to bring us really good, credible, and timely information. Thank you for that.
Right. Oh, I appreciate it. Well, part of the thing, over the years, we've now done over 100 two-hour shows, and it's not just a show based here in Nevada County, but it actually is available around the world. But all the content, the majority of content that we'll be sharing is based in the concept of our bioregion and watershed, and to help bring solutions and ideas and kind of think tank very active ideas around how we can enhance our communities, make them more sustainable, more regenerative, healthier, and actually in an age of collapsing leadership, how we can be more resilient and work with our sovereignty to help support each other and support our communities. And I know that's a big part of your work.
Absolutely. It's also the age of Aquarius now, officially. So you mentioned it's the age of collapsing, but it's also the age of Aquarius. So we have a good and bad, it's balancing. But yes, that is a big part of my work. One of the things that I am up to right now in this time is I'm helping with the Nevada County Assembly. I'm the moderator. And we're doing a lot of good work in the county to help keep businesses open, help keep kids healthy and educated, and really also to create just like a mental health respite for members of the community who are standing up for their rights so that they don't feel so alone. Because, I was watching Star Wars the other day, and one of the things they said I felt really resonant with, which is the way that they defeat you is to make you think you're alone. And you're not. There's more of us than there are of them. Right. And thank you. And here we are. And you can be part of us if you so desire.
Exactly. And I think a big part of the show, too, is not just presenting the work that people are doing, but in the future, we have actually an interactive chat element. And we're actually connected to something called the Source Directory, which is a bioregional directory of individuals, businesses, and organizations that are doing great work. And you can check that out at the Source Directory. But we're going to take a few minutes just to get to know a little more about Raina, and then we're going to dig into the show. The first part tonight is going to be our called Gift of Health. It's our health and wellness for spirit, mind, body wellness. And we have actually two presenters tonight, Douglas DeBecker, who actually is helping to anchor that part and host parts of that show in the future and bring in talent. And we also have the benefit of globally active healers doing a lot of amazing work with Ty and Nora. And then we'll have our arts and culture piece. We have some great talent, someone who's no stranger to the show, who has DJ'd both on the show and at events. And then we're going to finish off today's show in about 40 minutes with the Peace and Justice Report. And Raina will be interviewing Joe Bonamolo, who's been very active and involved in our communities. Indeed. So while we have the benefit of this time together and to get our audience to know you more, what are some other things? I know you've been involved in lots of projects in the past, but what can you share with people to get to know a little more about you and your work and how that plays into what you're doing right now with the Assembly?
Yeah, sure. Well, I am a dedicated performance artist, but I'm a little bit different than your average performance artist. My intention is really to bring awareness through hilarity. So one of the things that I believe strongly is that awareness can be, like if you sneak information in the back door when people are laughing, people are much more receptive, and it's way more fun. So I've been doing all kinds of different things to that end. I have been doing stand-up comedy for the last couple of years. Went on tour with a show called More Enlightened Than You. My particular portion of the show is called Shamanic Cheerleading, which is spiritual satirical cheerleading for your personal growth and spirit. Hey, Om Shanti, we're all one. So I've been doing that. I've also been doing a lot of physical comedy and things of that sort in the performance realm. I am also an improvisation teacher. So I teach a form called contact improvisation. And the reason why that benefits us and me in particular is I feel that improvisation is one of the greatest life skills that you could have. And we're really being called to engage our improvisational selves right now, because as we are becoming more sovereign as individuals, as a community, and hopefully as a world, we're going to have to improvise. And improvisation is also really helpful because it teaches you how to respond rather than react. And I feel that has really informed me in my work and the way that I work with the Assembly.
Right.
It's very easy to react to everything that's happening right now very intensely, but it's a bit more fun and actually more effective to respond creatively.
And I love what you said too, that we live in such a polarized time, and not just polarized, but where everyone wants to kind of wave a flag about their truth and their opinion and their sovereignty and what they believe and why their truth is the best, or they have the inside knowledge of something. And like you said, it really boils down so much to the realization of our connectivity to each other, and as opposed to the old paradigm of Darwinianism where it's survival of the fittest, we're actually finding out it's survival of the most collaborative, the most innovative, the most resilient. So it's really it's kind of a dark time, but it's also an exciting time of a lot of change as these old structures and old paradigms and old ways of thinking and systems fall apart, as painful as they can be. But it's, like you said, it's we're entering into the age of Aquarius. We're going to have to rewrite that song from here, right? We can't use that one anymore. It's not the dawning. It's we're here.
This is the age of Aquarius.
We're working that for next show.
Well, I mean, what you just mentioned with everybody with their different truths, one of the things that I feel is true, right? What's the truest truth that we can find? Well, everybody's truth is true for them from their perspective. So I think it's important for us to understand that no matter where you're looking at it from, everybody believes their truth is true. So the image that I've been working with is a disco ball. We're all just flecks of mirrors on the disco ball. And it's our job to reflect the light as much as we can from our particular little perspective.
Right. Great. And on those words of wisdom, we'll have you back in just a little bit for more chat and awareness and banter. And hopefully Mr. Joe Bonamolo will be here. And in just a few minutes, we're going to have the health and wellness, the gift of health part of the show with Douglas DeBecker. But before we do that, we're going to segue over to one of our musical interludes. Actually, Michael Shapiro, we want to acknowledge him. When we first started the show years ago, he created 4 1-minute pieces of music, which are kind of theme songs for the show. They range from classic rock, kind of in the spirit of the Grateful Dead or Jefferson Airplane, to blues and jazz. So we're going to go now to a little musical theme song, and we'll be back in just a minute with Douglas DeBecker on Gift of Health.
It's a golden road, TV show. Yes, it's a golden road, TV show. It's a Golden Road TV show.com.
And we're back. Again, I want to thank Tara and also Jim Heck, who have been really instrumental over the last few years of helping to do the technical side of the show and actually help to broadcast Earthstock this year from Pioneer Park, and actually last year. And we actually live streamed the powwow, the Sierra Native Alliance powwow, which had over 30,000 viewers. And we're going to, in the future, work on incorporating part of the show to really focus on Indigenous issues. So things are really mushrooming and starting to happen. And thank you for tuning in. Please, subscribe to the channel, like it, and share it with people. That's how we can grow this form of independent media. Sorry to say, we're not TikTok. You're not going to see fun 30-second dances, or who knows, we might. Douglas might surprise us tonight with something. But nonetheless, we're going to try to give you some useful content, whatever your lifestyle might be, something you can incorporate to help enhance your quality of life, your health, and your understanding of your being, spiritually, mentally, physically, or emotionally. So next part of the show is called Gift of Health, and I'd like to welcome our next guest, who also in the future will be doing some co-hosting of the show. I'd like to interview Douglas DeBecker from Integrated Traditional medicine practitioner. So welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks
Good.
for having me here.
You look quite blissful this evening.
I've had a really busy day.
Okay, good. Well,
Yeah,
you
a couple days actually.
good. Well, you're doing something right. The fact if you can be busy and still look blissfully relaxed.
Good.
Good. So, integrated traditional medicine. I know you because we've been doing our alchemy, spirit, mind, body expos here, and inviting people from the community to come into kind of a spirit, mind, body clinic of how they can do certain things and practices and various technologies that they can utilize, herbs, meditation practices to enhance their quality of health. But for people who might not be familiar with the term, what exactly is integrated traditional medicine?
So there's a common term out there called integrated medicine. And in integrated medicine, in general, what has happened over the last few decades is allopathic medicine takes a component of indigenous medicine and tries to integrate it into allopathic medicine. They, for instance, might say like this herb is good has been used to help a certain condition. They'll try to find the active component, isolate it, and then put it into treatment with someone, and kind of in that way they call it integrated medicine. But I use the term integrated traditional medicine because it's kind of the I don't really do allopathic medicine. And it's a term I just use for my own practice. It's the name of my business, Integrated Traditional Medicine.
And you have a background too. I understand you do what's called aspects of Ayurvedic medicine and Tibetan medicine.
Is my main practice. Yeah, so Rigpa. I created a nonprofit to try to do what I consider to be real integrated medicine, where the traditional medicine concepts that have been used for thousands of years can maybe integrate a little bit of what allopathic medicine does, but that the elders in the ancient traditions really are the authority on how that comes in, rather than the other way around.
Well, it's interesting because years ago I did a documentary about traditional Tibetan medicine at the Shang Tsung Institute in Conway, Mass. And what was interesting is in that form of medicine, you have to understand that you have certain maybe karmas or certain things you've done in your life. You might hold a certain belief system, the effect of our mind, our intelligence, our awareness, our state of being, our beliefs, and how profoundly that affects our health. And not only that, but some of the medicines were, things like yak butter with gold or different types of things that might seem almost like voodoo for someone coming from a more kind of Western Eurocentric mindset. So can you talk a little bit about the practice of it and maybe how you would diagnose or the different elements?
So, coming off what you just said, there's considered to be different causes of diseases. Yeah. There's natural causes, which is what most people are familiar with that study traditional medicine, which are the increase of certain elements based on their diet and activities. And it increases in their life too much, and then they get imbalanced. But then there's also accidents. There's also what's considered to be spirit provocation, which is kind of equivalent to bad energy. It's also equivalent to pathogenic epidemic viruses, and all this stuff is kind of in that same thing as spirit provocation. And then there's what's called karmic diseases, which is that no matter what medicine or doctor they work with, they won't actually get better. What they need to do is actually change the kind of energetic load of what they're carrying from their past impressions through doing something good. Like an easy way is they go to a place where they fish, where people catch and you can buy live fish. They buy a bunch of live fish and then they let a whole bunch of live fish back in the ocean.
Wow.
And that gives them a lot of good energy, or
cheaper than surgery too.
Yeah, cheaper than surgery.
Right.
And then but even prior to that though, in indigenous traditions, the idea that ignorance is really the cause of disease. And the way they talk about in the Tibetan tradition, which is a combination of all the indigenous systems, basically from Greece and Egypt all the way to China, Asia, their idea of ignorance is that It's forgetfulness that everything is connected and that everything changes. And as soon as we can, think intellectually and understand that, okay, yeah, everything's connected from a quantum level and everything changes. But in our day-to-day life, as we get into a particular track within a particular intention, when things change, then against what our plan is, then we react to that change. And then the way they look at it is we react to it through 3 different emotional sets, through either anger and aggression.
Like the fight or flight reaction that people can have, maybe.
Yeah, kind of similar. The desire and attachment is another one. And then the other one is depression, kind of confusion, closed-mindedness. And then based on those 3
Sounds like you just summarized 2020 in a nutshell.
It's true, yeah, right. Yeah. So like they say that you can basically take every reaction to the things not going your way, either because they're not going your way because they've changed, or it's not going your way because you either want to affirm that you're disconnected from it, or you want to affirm that you are connected with it, or either way. So out of those 3 different emotional sets, then it propitiates us to be motivated to engage in different lifestyle habits and diets and activities that then increase the thing and cause what we'd call natural diseases.
And I know this is a very deep subject. I mean, there's only so much we can do in our 8 and 10 minutes together, but I'm really happy that you've considered helping to co-host the show and bring people onto the show who can talk about these various topics and subjects that are so essential. So I just want to thank you and welcome you. And before we finish, any words of wisdom you'd like to offer to the audience here before we go on to the next part of the show?
Well, it's wintertime. So in wintertime, the earth and water element is very strong. It affects the kidneys and the bladder. And so it's good to take care of your kidneys and bladder. You keep them warm. You can wrap a warm cloth around your waist. You can eat foods that are more warming, not too heavy. And that's helpful. Yeah.
Great. This is something anybody can do, right, in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So again, we're speaking with on Gift of Health tonight with Douglas D. Becker about integrated traditional medicine, and you have a website called indigenousmedicine.net.
Right.
Great,
Yeah.
and people can find out a little bit more about
Absolutely. And cardamom, actually, this season is a great season to have cardamom because it helps to warm up the kidneys and bladder. It can even get rid of kidney stones really easily, actually, if you boil a concentrated brew of cardamom tea. So.
Wow, good to know. We'll have many lightning shows ahead of us.
Cool,
for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great. So we're going to stay with Gift of Health for the next segment, and we have Ty and Nora here who are going to talk a little bit about their work with Energy, and they've actually been part of the Alchemy Expos that we've been holding, doing a lot of energy work. I'd say they're very traditional, but in a very untraditional way that might seem foreign, but actually makes a lot of sense. And they brought some of their tools. Does that summarize it pretty well? Was that okay? Good. And they brought some of their tools of their trade that they can share with us tonight. So we'll be back in just a minute. We're going to do another musical segue with a piece of music by Michael Shapiro, and we'll be back. And coming up, we have arts and culture. And we're going to have some in-studio performers here that are doing a lot through their work with hip-hop medicine, not integrated medicine, but it's a different type of medicine. And I know also Dub Moses does a lot of other work, energetics around healing. And then we're going to get into the Peace and Justice Report because we want to let you know what's happening here, not just in Nevada County with the proposed opening of the Idaho-Maryland mine, but what's happening with water protection around the region, and also what's happening with the People's Assembly and helping to keep some of our hometown local businesses alive. If you live in Nevada County, you know most of the businesses in Truckee, downtown Grass Valley, downtown Nevada City are not box stores and big chains. They're all locally owned. They help maintain the historic nature of the community and the importance of community connectivity and community mindedness. And they've been doing a lot of great work in helping some of those businesses to keep their doors open and survive through this time of such incredible change on the earth. So we'll be back in just a minute. Here's a little bit of more music with Michael Shapiro on the Golden Road TV show.
Awesome.
It's a Golden Road TV show. It's a Golden Road TV show. Well, listen once, listen twice. Oh, won't you please take my advice? It's the Golden Road TV show.com.
That's perfect.
Yeah, sure.
Where do you want to start with? Which one?
I'm just gonna
Hello and welcome to the Source Directory, a completely new and innovative approach to create a list of individuals, organizations, projects, and events that are helping to make our area more resilient and a healthier, happier place to live. Within the directory, you'll find hundreds of different businesses and people who are all committed and dedicated to community building, environmental restoration, self-sustainability, and economic development. Some of the categories you'll find them under is arts and culture, health and healing, peace and justice, food and farm, science and technology. I'm one of the founders, Michael DiMartino, and I'm also the host and producer of Golden Road TV and Radio, which produces a weekly 2-hour TV and radio show, once again, to bring focus to those people in our region that are helping to make a change for the better and to make this area much happier and healthier with a higher quality of living for all of us. Thank you for your time. If you'd like more information, just check out thesourcedirectory.org and goldenroadtelevision.com. Thank you for your time. And we're back. Wow, the set just keeps getting bigger and bigger. There's something quantumly happening. I'm not quite sure, but every day things are exponentially manifesting and getting bigger.
I did that.
You did that?
Yeah.
Okay. We know who to blame now.
Yes.
Everyone needs a scapegoat. No, actually, it's so interesting because just on the heels of what we're talking about with Douglas to Becker too, I just think it's really interesting where so many cultures, especially in Eastern traditions, that there's a level of acceptance of self-responsibility for the conditions that we've created in our life and the way things are playing out. I mean, it's very easy in our maybe the ways that we were taught or educated, or we live in a system where it's easy to do transference and blame other people or think that somehow it's outside of ourselves. But nonetheless, I think through these times when a lot of people have spent more time with themselves or their family than they might have in the past, because I know before the whole COVID crisis started happening, everyone I would talk to was like, I'm so busy. I have a quick second, real quick. I have to do this. And it seemed like, how can we sustain a sane, healthy lifestyle when everybody is just trying to ingest more and more information, I actually call it the information saturation generation. Because, I mean, even putting this show out on YouTube, there's so much content out there. There's so many options with Netflix and YouTube and Instagram and all of these new stations and networks. So part of justifying doing the show is we really have to just get right to the essence of what's important. We have to talk about things that are important. We have to empower each other with the knowledge, and we have to actually support each other in finding more collaborative ways to be. So I just want to encourage everyone as you watch this show and in your life, to just know that through our decisions and various things that we really do create, or maybe with a higher power, we co-create our reality. The age of blaming others and putting the responsibility on others, I think, is quickly changing. And maybe that's part of this whole Jupiter-Saturn 800-year alignment of what we're calling now this new Aquarian age, from when we went from the astrology of being very heavy in Capricorn to now being in the sign of Aquarius. So on that note, I'd like to welcome you back. You're watching the Golden Road TV show, The Golden Road, because we're bridging the past, honoring the past with today, and working to collaborate for a better tomorrow. And like Raina was saying, we have to innovate that. We have to co-create that every single day, and we have to be flexible and resilient. And on that, I'd like to introduce our next guests. We're going to do another segment of Gift of Health. And we have Ty and Nora on the show. I've known them for a couple of years. We actually met through the Lotus Guide magazine, and Rahasya, Poe, and Dara. And I'd like to welcome you guys to the show, and really
Thank you.
excited to know more about this amazing work that you do.
Thank you.
So we were going to do a tool show and tell, and we probably brought a little bit too much, so we're going to scale it down a bit. But we have on the table here, we have several of the tools we use in our practice daily. So clearing tools, energizing tools, and tools to broadcast quantum intent or healing intent over vast distances. So we do work on Skype and things like that. So we'll be in Finland, 1 hour, and then in New Zealand another hour and stuff.
And this is part of your energy
Yes,
work.
absolutely. So we sell a little bit of tools, and then we mostly do clearing work.
So for people who might not know, I like to always start with the low-hanging fruit. Energy, what does that mean? What is chi? And obviously these are not, people are not taking herbs or supplements. They're not doing certain things. You have these tools. How are these relative to really the essence of this, I guess, energetic work that you guys do?
Say that again?
So when we
Well, okay,
do
go ahead.
quantum healing, we utilize, for example, the Vesca Pisces. And this is like an amplifier and a broadcaster. So when we douse for the condition that is creating a disease, a disorder, a darkness, or maybe a dark energy, we figure out what exactly that is, and then we find the 0 point space, and then we broadcast that information through the quantum space, and then that moves that energy out, and then we replace it with positive flows. So the goal is to remind that person that's in illness that they have the power to regain their life force energy back into their bodies. So that's anything else you want to say about the?
That's great. Perfect.
Great. All right.
So
I'm looking at this, and I'm also fascinated by your earrings too. Those are like nothing I've ever seen. And one of the things I really appreciate and what I know about you guys, this isn't just something you do. This is really part of who you are.
Yes.
And the way that you carry, it's not like you go to the office and you do this. You're
24/7.
living this.
Yes.
we're clears 24/7.
It's part of us taking responsibility for ourselves in the darkness that we had created in the past. We are here now to transform all that energy back to the positive flows and the life energy that needs to be put in place, because now we are entering again a new time and space, and we need to enter with strength and power. And so we utilize these sacred geometries, and sacred geometry is ancient. The only thing that when we bring it to this manifestation in this time and space is that we're adding different elements like ruthenium, shungite, and other crystals. So adding more power and energy to broadcast information out to source, because we're connecting deeper with source, because source is everything. If you do not have source, then you don't have the power and the energy that you're going to need to bring to manifestation your creativity. This is a time to be in deep creativity.
Fantastic. Great. So let's look at a couple other things. And I want to say I actually wear a lot. You guys gave me because a lot of people don't know cell phones, computers, being around Wi-Fi. We're constantly being bombarded with these different frequencies. And now with this whole concept of 5G introduction and using microwaves, which are also able to be a weaponized technology, not just a broadcast technology, that all of us are really being bombarded with these different frequencies. So I know you gifted me a beautiful shungite pendant, which helps to
It's actually it was a form of orgonite. that we
Orgonite.
make,
It's a
which is
ornament.
it's a carbon
Goodness.
powdered metal technology that recently, last 10, 20 years, has incorporated crystals and other ingredients. And so we've put about 60 or 70 other ingredients and little powders. Then we tune them on about 19 different devices with 200 different intentions of source intentions. And ends up being a very protective, healing life energy talisman.
It's a talisman.
Yeah.
Great, great. And what are some other pieces? I don't know if Nora wants to lift a few things up, or I want to hand you a couple items. This looks really
Oh my gosh.
fascinating.
This is,
That's our new one. That's our new baby.
Uh-oh. New technologies here. And maybe, Nora, if you look at the TV, you can kind of hold it in the black space next to your head, and it's a little more, there we go, thank you. It's a little more visible.
So this has some shungite in there, which is a male and female shape, a pyramid and a sphere, a divinity ring, three pyramids that are canted, a tachyon bead, and it also has a full spectrum LED light. So this has a whole spectrum of different frequencies resonating in there, and that really has been our new little powerful
Wow,
tool.
and this is something you created.
No, a friend of ours does.
Wow.
So we have a small group of healers that are worldwide, and we do a very specific sort of work, and we work with a specific healer. We make the orgone, but Wayne makes these tools.
Well, it looks kind of like an antenna for more what I would call the internet than the internet, right?
Yes,
It's,
we
quite
use them as antennas to broadcast,
Wow.
our healing intent.
basically we're broadcasting.
fantastic.
We can draw energy. We can broadcast energy. We can move energy. It's just really your imagination. It's very important to utilize your imagination to create wellness, abundance.
All right, and we have a couple other things.
So
This is
that is a charging ring. It's called a sun ring.
it kind of looks like a crown of thorns, almost a reverse crown of thorns.
Yeah,
Well,
reverse crown of thorns. Yeah.
In desperation, you
absolutely-
could use it that way, but no, a person would hold their food over it, stand over it to charge their body. So when we're finishing a session, we might have a person stand up on that. We have smaller ones. I was going to show you that. These are the practitioner models.
Wow.
These are the affordable ones, and this is if someone wants to be more responsible for their energy. We have affordable tools to clear themselves and recharge themselves, so they don't necessarily need a healer every week, every day, or something like that. They can maintain on a certain level, maintain their own energy.
So just to bring it to, because we have a wide diversity of people who watch a show.
Yes.
What do you mean by clear themselves?
Well, there are
And
many.
I know that might be a complex question, but maybe in the last minute or so that we have, we can help people understand.
You can have a buildup of electromagnetic frequencies, scalar frequencies, quantum information, have your auras, energy bodies, your metaphysical selves, and even your cellular structures accumulating disharmonious chaotic frequencies, electrostatic buildup,
Emotional.
negative emotions,
Right.
negative
Trauma.
entities, trauma. And so these can start loosening that up without having to invest a lot of money or time. It's very affordable, and you just
And it's more about people taking things kind of into their own
Right. You be on
hands and depending on someone
yeah,
else.
become your own healer.
Yeah, we're returning the power to the people.
Great,
Yeah.
fantastic. So time goes so quick, and this is such a really a fascinating subject. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Gift of Health on Golden Road TV, bridging the past with today for a better tomorrow. I'm your host, Michael DiMartino, and really happy to be restarting up the show after a long hiatus. Typically, the show will be live every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. It will be up after that on YouTube, and we are, as of January of 2021, launching a complete network, actually a channel of all shows and content geared around our bioregion, but really with information that can benefit you, our viewers, anywhere in the area of health and wellness to ideas of environment and ecology, peace and justice. Some of the topics we've talked a lot about in the past, I did several shows about traditional ecological knowledge and the fact that indigenous people actually have been trying to teach our colonial model for hundreds of years since we invaded North America and brought this colonial idea here, that we've been mismanaging our resources of forests and water and have kind of broken the connection with the natural world. And now we're starting to see the importance of this traditional ecological knowledge in the symptoms of mismanagement through some of the horrific wildfires that are happening, some of the droughts that have been happening, and other things that have been occurring in the natural world. And even right now, I just spoke, just to take a quick minute before we segue, I just spoke with another contributor for the channel, Mauro Oliveria, who is a broadcaster at KFOI Radio in Reading. He does a show called Extinction Diaries, which actually just got picked up by Pacifica Radio. But his whole show is about the environment and things like climate change, regardless of whether you believe it's human-made or a natural cycle, or if you think it's mythology, whatever you believe. But right now, the permafrost of North America, of the Arctic Circle, has actually not even begun to refreeze and regenerate. So there's a lot of things that are happening that through awareness, through non-corporate media, through non-manipulated or censored media, we can start to share ideas and think tank and bring ideas and solutions to each other and to our children for future generations. And this show is just one way that we try to contribute to that. So again, I want to thank Ty and Nora for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can check them out online at Energy.
EnergyWellness.com. There's a dash between Enter and Chi. So enter-chiwellness.com.
Great.
And you can see our tools. We have podcasts ourselves. You can get access to the information on the website. You can go to our contact page and shoot me an email, and we'll
And
answer
you're working
anything.
globally on many levels of the multiverse.
Yes, we are.
Great. Well, it's always good to see you guys, and
Thank you
just
very
been really
much.
nice to develop actually a friendship also, and just really honored in really the amazing work that you do. And we'll hopefully in the future we can share some stories and testimonials.
Okay.
So we're going to switch now. We're going to go over to our arts and culture part of the show. And the next person on the show, he's no stranger to the show, and has been really involved in the community, not only here in Nevada County, but really nationally and globally through his organization, Hip Hop Medicine, dedicated to actually conscious lyrical hip hop. He's worked with many of the founders and the luminaries of the hip hop movement. And we actually have the benefit to have Brother Jay here in the studio. So honored. Thank you so much. And I'm blinded from the Ankh from here. It's like so much light coming. So we're going to have a great little bit of opportunity to have a discussion with them and check out some of their music videos. But right now, why don't we go to a musical segue back to Michael Shapiro with our third rendition of the Golden Road theme song as we change set. And we get Brother Jay and Dove Moses up here to talk a little bit about hip hop medicine and X-Clan Worldwide and some of the other stuff. I mean, you guys are doing so much. Let's just get you up here and then have a discussion. But we'll be back right after this musical interlude.
Do you guys want us to take this off or leave it on? If it's okay to stay. It's a Golden Road TV show. It's a Golden Road TV show.
Golden Road explores the intersection of arts, environment, culture, health, peace, justice, science, and technology.
It's a Golden Road TV show.com.
Wide.
It's a Golden Road TV show.
That's the next one. And we're back. And we're just getting a lot in tonight. And again, thanks for tuning in. You're watching Golden Road TV show. I'm your host, Michael DiMartino, and just happy to be able to find positive uses of technology to help bring a message of hope and collaboration and unity to all you folks out there around the world who tune in. I do want to remind you, please subscribe to the station, because whenever we're broadcasting live, you'll get a notification. Also, all the shows are archived there so you can watch at a later date. And really exciting, in January of this year, we're going to be launching our own independent platform. So as much as we like the attributes and the benefit of using social media like YouTube and Facebook and others, more and more we're finding that we're actually migrating to other platforms that can be more independent and can cultivate more free speech. And in this day and age, we can see more and more people actually around the world who have things to say that can be considered inflammatory or fake news or conspiratorial or whatever it might be. More and more censorship is being exercised. So in a country and a culture that was hopefully built on some values of free speech and sovereignty and freedom from tyranny, we're working really hard to kind of keep that spirit alive. And in that, we're going to switch gears to our next part of the show. It's called Art and Culture. And I'm really happy and honored to reconnect with a great brother. Here on my far left, we have Brother Dove Moses.
Peace.
And he is the founder of Conscious Hip Hop Medicine. And really honored to have right to my most immediate left someone I got to know at one of the broadcasts that we did from the Center for the Arts in Grass Valley, and just crushing it with conscious lyrics. I want a nice round of applause. As part of Culture United and X-Clan Worldwide, a nice round of applause for Brother Jay.
Peace.
So, so much to cover and so little time, but I want to thank you for taking the time to be on here on the show. I know you're doing a lot with media, and you're also a father, and you have a lot happening. You're also doing your theta healing work.
It's called Theta Healing. Yep.
So let's do this before we really get into the essence of hip hop medicine and the
Right.
works that you guys are doing. And again, acknowledging the amazing lyrical genius that you both bring to an art form called hip hop, and how you're actually changing a huge part of that industry. Talk a little bit about each one of you, about what your work is and what you're doing at Theta
Cool.
Healing.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm glad to be on the Golden Road Radio. I've been here, 4 or 5 times. I've been able to share with Michael. The facility is great. I love what this does for the community, being able to build. Personally, I've been here about 8 years in the Grass Valley area. And what he's referencing is an art form called Theta Healing that 15 years ago I learned in Idaho Falls from a psychic healer that changed my life forever. and it digs deep into your subconscious with emotional healing and healing on a DNA level and all sorts of cool aspects that help transform your energy and your life. And it's right in alignment with all the other, people that were sharing. And so these pieces of healing and my passion for hip hop and lyricism and conscious hip hop led me to start throwing shows and events to really bring it to these people. Because being from New York, you're kind of spoiled. Like, there's a lot of great hip hop artists there. Not that there's not many over here, but coming from New York with that sense of always wanting to represent hip hop in a positive nature allowed me to open up a tour circuit and begin building and booking artists like KRS-One and Killer Priest and Micah 9 and all these phenomenal lyricists. And it was a no-brainer to book Brother J at the Cloud 9 in Berkeley, and that was in 2013. So ever since then, we've been building, and we've thrown shows at every venue in this area, from Grass Valley to Nevada City and the greater Bay Area, for sure. Really, like I said, hip-hop medicine, it tells you what we're all about. So without making it too long-winded, you can catch us at hiphopmedicine.com, and we're up to many, many, many things, and we haven't halted at all. Our production and our content is coming strong, so I look forward to, in the new year ahead, sharing more of what we're up to. So with that, I'll pass the mic to Brother Jay and let him take it.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. We worked together when we were doing the Lyrical Shaman concept, which was the baby of Hip Hop Medicine and Culture United coming together. We started bringing artists from different areas of the country that didn't have commercial push. I think the label of underground kind of makes it like one is better than the other. And we kind of wanted to share light that the mainstream belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to someone who just has the snazziest bells and whistles about them. It's about really the content. And we felt that, hip hop music in general was just heading toward a negative. Everything was about sex, drugs, and extras. And I felt that there was more space for wellness and, inspirational lyricism. So, people who have same like minds, the creator brings them together in one way or the other. So, I'm honored to continue this journey. We actually came here just to meet with you, and, it was such an alignment, that the show was going on. We never, step out of our pockets. So it just was proper for us to add on to the program and to the arts and culture. I appreciate you having us on board, man.
Absolutely. It's an honor.
No doubt.
And it is interesting because when people tend to think of certain art forms, there's these kind of stereotypes that are given to it. And what I was impressed when I first met Dove and his work, and then I assisted in the documentary, shooting some of the documentary footage, and got to meet some of the other artists and actually heard the message that you were sharing. I mean, this is not only kind of recreating the art form, but you're actually creating a whole new art form, and you're doing it in a way that I can see is helping people wake up and inspiring people more than just like buying into the commercialism or a certain projected ego or a lot of the other things that really many styles of music and media do. But you're bringing something so sincere and I can see how it affects people. So for people who might not know, tell us a little bit about Brother Jay and your background, and I know you're deeply seasoned, and again, much respect and props for being here tonight. Really.
Much respect, man. Humbly, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and where we were, there was a lot of injustice going on, and as a young man, I joined a movement that was about, speaking about justice and the proper equality, meaning, where we can balance and understand true freedom and true liberation. And we were installing it in young people because, the next generations are key. You know what I'm saying? Our elders have been through things and we can feed off their wisdom, but the activism belongs to us to activate in the present, So our movement was based on teaching principles, such as Ma'at, understanding true balance amongst people. So, our music and our funk, we sacrifice the ego side of hip hop and just basically put ourselves in the realm to say, let's transmit the ancestors' vibrations through this music and see what goes. And 30 years later, we are still relevant in the hip hop community, as a whole. And bonding with Dove Moses, we basically wanted to, show people that, there's a way to step off the grid and kind of refine yourself. And especially during this COVID thing where everything is reset. Nobody's a star right now. You can get together and build a studio like this and be as big as Universal if the content and the give is right. So this is something that we want to transmit not only in our music but our actions. So we brought a little taste of some videos and stuff that we've been filming using this beautiful, landscape out here. This Grass Valley is a magical place. We've done so many things here with the good people, from Crazy Horse all the way to the Miners Foundry. We've performed out here, just to continue to say, people get together and just be real with each other. I was pulling people off tour to come out here, just to contribute their energies, because people always see them from the distance and never have a chance to shake their hand and give peace. So,
And that's one of the things that really impressed me in the time that I got to spend with you and Dove and some of the people that were part of this whole tour.
yes.
Some of the most kindest, authentic, deepest thinking people I've met in a long time. And the fact that, Dove's repping and helping to bring that into our community. And I always kind of go back to this whole thing of Edgar Casey, these stories of Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet.
Yes.
And he used to go into these dream meditations, and he spoke hundreds of things actually that came to pass over 100 years ago. And one of his dreams was about, he saw a city of light in the mountains in a time where the old paradigm in parts of the world would be crumbling and falling apart, that people were actually going to gather there to help build a template for a new way of looking at things,
That's
a
right.
fresh
In
way
his
of,
script, it was called Nevada City.
yeah, and
That
it
was the
Nevada
city of light, or
So,
the city of gold, or whatever that he's talked about, right?
so I just, again, that's a big part of what the show is about, just kind of giving thanks to the people really at the cutting edge, bringing the new technologies, the new healing, the work around all these important, crucial topics to inherit our true divinity outside of the construct of what the system might want us to believe.
Exactly. And that's where we all have a common denominator. We're not with the systematic thought. We're with the natural vibration. So, that transmits through music. We waste this freedom of speech tool on foolishness. Grown women twerking in front of kids, on channels. That doesn't make sense to me. Where there's so much more to build on. There's so much ancestral dance that we can enjoy instead of just what they made, that to be. I think it's time for a new movement in music and film. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to link with you again, good brother.
And we have a video to share. It's called Culture United, which Culture United, which is the name of Brother Jay's record label and company as well, and features Damian Marley on the track. He's not in this video, but we shot this video all in town. You'll see the Grass Valley River and some friends' lands and farms that we used, and to put this together in August. So I think she could share it.
Yeah,
now
why don't
if
we
you
do
want.
this? We'll have that as a segue as we get to the last part of the show, the Peace and Justice Report, with co-hostess Raina Satori, and looks like Joe Bonamolo has just arrived. But before we do that, out of respect, is there any other? I know you could do it for hours. I've heard it. But anything you want to leave people with, some words of wisdom or something you just want to share off the cuff, some freestyle or just something before we go to the video?
I said look that way.
No freestyle today. I want them to enjoy the video, but I will say this, it's time for families to kind of step up and kind of protect the future of what music and film are doing. Start to boycott the foolishness and get with some of the more intelligent artists to have something to represent, something solid, that, you can't teach these dumb styles to kids. You know what I'm saying? It's really advancing them in a place where when we teach them as parents and it's step by step, this is really taking them to the top of the stairway too quickly. So, when you see artists like ourselves and producers support that to the fullest and make sure that all is well, that's all I'll say.
Thanks, Mike.
Words of wisdom with Brother Jay. So let's go over to the video. And while that's happening, we're going to get staged here to have Raina Satori and Joe Bonamolo up with the Peace and Justice Report, and lots happening on that front. We'll be back in just a minute with Golden Road TV.
Culture. X-Clan, Junior Gong, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. Culture United, freedom fighters unite. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come.
So East Coast, culture, West Coast, culture, down South, culture, hip hop, culture, dancehall, culture, reggae, culture, rude boy, culture, drum rock, culture.
We the messengers, no entertainers. Spark the map with roots and culture. Just as born, raise up your lighters. Spark it up for the ancestors. Spark it up for the freedom fighters that hold it down to protect the righteous. Spark it up for the activists that hold it down in the struggles of the beast is dust. Sing a song, do a jig, man, tan. Sing a song, do a jig for the man. You hop and skip through hoops for the man. Sow your ass for you freed your land. So many struggle with the tempt of the bubble, work through, turn double and the double turns trouble. So many fam just crumble to a humble and the hustle went wrong and the hoods lose muscle. Give thanks for roots and culture, a true and living soldier. Don't be that wanted poster, zombie mind, fresh meat for the vulture.
Walk like you're chosen.
Selassie and Garvey,
Walk like you're chosen.
like Grand Verb and Marley. Culture united, divided we fall. Culture united, we must stand tall. Culture united, freedom for all. Culture united, love over war.
Settle down now, brother Johnny. Watch it. So East Coast, culture, West Coast, culture, down South, culture, hip hop, culture, dancehall, culture, reggae, culture, rude boy, culture, drum rock, culture. Say this and
Culture united, 12 dudes on the crown of the ones that bust a spit. Hammer time boy and it's straight legit, and it's strictly roots and no counterfeit. It's conscious living, not a myth. Free your mind and the rest is gift. Walk the rifts and brave the cliffs. Highest ground by blood is gift. Point in the sun when the earth reflects. Manifest fertile and the rest is blessed. North to the south, from the east to the west. Conscious power, there's no contest. 029, got to be on time. All being born to the sound of the rhyme. All being schooled to the sound of the time. Prophets of culture, one time. Big up to all the X-Clan, original horsemen of justice. Big Soul, Sugar Shaft, Architect, Lil Cypher. Yeah. Let's get it. Culture united, divided we fall. Culture united, we must stand tall. Culture united, freedom for all. Culture united, one time. Culture.
And we're back. I don't know if the lights are too bright or my aura just got brighter after that last video, but I'm feeling pretty good. Welcome back to Golden Road TV show, and glad to be here. And again, lots of respect to all of our incredible guests tonight. You know, it's so hard to really get into in-depth conversations, to try to compete with the level of ADD that there is in society, where we want everything, we want it within 30 seconds. But we're doing our best to keep things moving, to get you some useful information, to give you an update of what's happening throughout the area, and also to hopefully inspire and activate you to be part of this huge transformation and transition that's happening right now, really all around the world, but primarily here in the Sacramento River watershed, our bioregion, our neighborhood. So speaking about our neighborhood, you know, over the last year has been really challenging for a lot of businesses to try to keep their doors open, and for a lot of people just to navigate their sovereignty, to understand the right thing to do, how to not turn into a sheeple, but also how to do things and to kind of recreate our communities. So I want to introduce, again, my co-hostess of the show, Raina Satori, and she'll be here talking a little bit. So welcome back. There you are.
Hi there. Hi, watchers. We're back. We're going to move into a new portion. I'm going to interview Joe Bonamolo from the Nevada County Assembly. Now, I had mentioned to you that I'm the moderator of the County Assembly, and Joe is actually one of the originators of the Assembly. So, hi, Joe. How you doing?
Great. Thank
Yay,
you all.
welcome.
Appreciate you.
So happy to be here with you. Yeah.
Likewise.
So, what we're doing with the Assembly is really important work. We've been helping people out, and I'm just kind of curious, there's there's been a lot of talk about Joe Bonamolo around town. You're doing a lot of stuff. You're very active. You're especially very active at the Board of Supervisors meetings. So before we get into any of that content, I think it might be interesting just to hear a little bit about what is your background and what inspired you to start the Assembly here in Nevada County.
Great. Thank you, Raina. Again, my name is Joseph Bonamolo. I am a longtime resident in this county. Went to high school here, came from the Bay Area. I have a background of a lot of medical training. I was a Navy corpsman, an ICU corpsman, as well. I was a field-trained medical corpsman for, to patch up Marines in the field, all that kind of good stuff. So that kind of got me down the road of doing the investigation and asking the questions. I also tried to be a professional sports athlete. I was trying to be a professional punter, football player. So I had just this, work ethic and these goals, and I was just trying to chase life down. Once I had a family, started, having kids, everything changed, and you really start thinking about, the future for your children, your posterity. And I also had a special needs son for 13 years. So I basically quit my job, stayed at home, took care of him. It really kind of solidified everything about being a father and doing what was right for your family. So about 4 years ago, my son Joseph passed away, and I have custody of all four of my daughters at this point. So I really had to kind of focus and think about, which direction is my life going into. And so I kind of hunkered down because when I got my kids, they came straight from CPS, only for 2 days. But there was definitely some thought there of, okay, my kids could have been taken away for a while, and I better know my rights and see what I need to do in the future to prevent this from happening. And I was a non-offending parent, so really wasn't anything that was against me, but yet I still wanted to make sure I was defending their rights. So that's when I started getting into the Constitution, studying the Constitution, studying our Bill of Rights, really studying vaccines. And with my medical background, I still wasn't taught about the dangers of vaccines. So I did a lot of investigation, some really deep-seated research, and that propelled me into the constitutional aspects once these laws were coming about, 276, 277, and really affecting our children going into school. That's when I started stepping up pretty majorly and serving affidavits to schools. And then shortly thereafter, decided that through participating in a state assembly, which is a de jure assembly, and I'll explain a little bit about that in a moment, to working that assembly process to our county, where we really need it. We have a lot of effects of businesses being closed and people's rights being challenged and abused. And so I figured this is the place to start, and we have a great county for that.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing, Joe. Yeah, super dad.
Thank you.
We hear a lot about single super moms, but you're a single super dad, and thank you for showing up in that way. I'm just curious, before we get in, because the assembly stuff can be a little bit dry, so I kind of wanted to just hear, how has this path affected your life? How has your life shifted from how it was before to now that you're pursuing this? What's shifted for you?
Wow, so much. That can be a lengthy topic, but really,
30 seconds, make it interesting. No, I'm just kidding.
Really, though, from being just kind of concentrating on being a father and setting your basic examples to, okay, now we're fighting for our rights, we're fighting for our freedoms. Now it's time to start incorporating constitutional aspects and how my children can learn there. And so my life has taken a pretty, I feel like Stretch Armstrong right now. I'm really being stretched in a lot of different directions, many meetings, the assembly just came from an educational program opportunity that our community's working on, maybe over 60 families to get together and do some sort of home educational projects, So we're really trying to expand that way. But and as far as my life goes, it's gotten crazy. I enjoy it. I love the responsibility, and I think that's one thing that the Constitution promotes is self-governing aspects and self-responsibility, not only with your family but within your community. And so it's really important to stress that.
Yeah, thank you. And you really are. Joe is somebody who really takes on a lot of responsibility for many of us, and I think that it's important to recognize that it's not always for us to let someone else take responsibility. Let's be inspired to take our own responsibility. Joe's an excellent example. I mean, this guy's got 4 kids and I don't know how many jobs, and he's out there doing more for your rights than you are probably. So I want to just give you major props and also say, hey, everybody, let's step up. Let's do this. Let's learn how to do this together and come to the assembly, figure this out. So you've done a lot of stuff already. I wanted to find out, what's the thing that's the feather in your cap? What are you the most proud of so far? I'm sure there will be more feathers, but.
And thank you, by the way, for those compliments. I really appreciate it. I just want to keep working hard, for my family, for my community, for my country. But that's a good question. I'm feeling proud about a lot of accomplishments throughout all this. Probably the fact that I moved out of my mom's house with my 4 kids. I got a car, and I am functioning on my own. It feels really good to where before I thought I can't live without being at my mom's, and because I so many other amenities and things that are easy for me. But it is part of that self-responsibility aspect, and I feel really proud about taking care of my kids on my own, integrating them into society. Best as I can right now. We live pretty normally, as far as we can. We don't wear masks. We go to the parks. We run out to the school and kick the soccer ball. Some of my daughter's kids' friends come out and they want to try to interact with her, and the teachers run in between them and say, no, you can't touch them, which is really sad. But we kind of push the envelope, because I don't want my kids feeling that this is being a barrier for them. And they have not worn a mask once yet. So I'm really proud of that, I would want to say.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks. Yeah. That's really great. So one of the things that we do at the Assembly is that we educate people about how we can use our founding document of the Constitution to uphold our rights. I think that we haven't really learned as much about the Constitution as we could. I'm pretty sure that they didn't really teach us that in school for a very specific reason. So I'm just curious, Joe, why do you think it's important for people to learn about their rights and the Constitution?
Great question. Just as little as a year ago, I was in a boat of a lot of people, not knowing all my rights, being somewhat versed maybe back in high school with the civics class, maybe saying the Pledge of Allegiance a couple times here and there, So, of course, we kind of take it for granted because we live in America and we feel like that our freedoms are there for us at all times. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case, and they've been slowly, being taken away from us and being slowly degraded. And so learning the Constitution literally over in a year, and by no means am I proficient yet. It's a process, right? We all keep learning all the time, and that's great. But it is teaching me really that it's a responsibility for us all to be involved with learning the Constitution, with knowing our rights. Matter of fact, you can't throw your rights away according to the Constitution. It's unlawful. You have to keep them. Okay, so to know about your rights and how to enact them and keep them legitimate within your lifetime and your community it's really important that we practice. And it doesn't have to be overnight. Like I said, this is a steady. It's like anything else. You practice to make perfect. Okay, so pick up a Constitution, pick up the Bill of Rights. Read the Federalist Papers. That's something that I haven't even read yet, but I know that's in my future. But all these things will solidify the fact that you have these amazing rights, and that we as people have far more power than our elected representatives. We are here to make sure that they do the job correctly, and when they don't, we have the power to remove them. So that's the major lesson that I take out of the Constitution, is that we, the people, really have the supreme power of the land. And we need to learn how to re-adopt that into our lives, to use that, and not be afraid to talk about politics and whatever religion you are at the dinner table. This is the art and the practice that we've lost over time, unfortunately. That's not been given to us in schools and been pushed, for us to remember and to utilize in this way. So it's all about bringing it to square one, the fundamentals, rebuilding from grassroots, from the bottom up. And if we can do that, we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, right on. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I can definitely say that becoming aware of my own rights was never that important to me, because I don't think I was in a position in life where I was never really affected by what was happening with the government. And I think at this point, what's going on for all of us is a catalyzing thing for us it's affecting everyone, no matter where you are on the food chain. So it's an opportunity for us to learn and come together about how to navigate ourselves a little bit better. Okay, well, in closing, one of the things I love about you is your passion. I'm just kind of curious, what are you the most fired up about right now? What's the thing that's just really getting you right now?
So many things,
top one,
I could
guess.
literally go on a pretty good rampage about that, but I will say that what's really bothering me now is the lack of education and the ignorance out there. So many people, we're really having this thrown in our face, and it's not our fault. It's not our fault that we don't have the answers to this, but I want more people to wake up to the media, to what the media is pushing. I want more people to wake up to doing real research and not believing what everybody else tells them, but actually taking it into your own hands and taking that responsibility and doing some of it. So it does anger me. I'm frustrated quite often, but I'm learning how to balance that so that I can be more effective in delivering the message. It's not an easy thing. But this is the example I want to give everybody before I leave. What your elected representatives are supposed to do is they're supposed to stand up with their back to you, and they're supposed to take all the fire coming in at you, the people. When they turn around and start coming at you and giving you dictation and edicts, they've crossed that line. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing. And it bothers me that more people aren't waking up to realizing that our elected officials are dictating to us what we should know and what is best for us. That is never going to that should never happen. So once we recognize this, people, that bothersome thing is that it will turn around for me if I can try to, get more people to recognize, or at least have them recognize on their own. Start paying attention. And so that's a crawl on my side, but I think the statistics out there do show that really 70% of the people are pretty much awake. And it's been misconstrued by the media, but that 70% is going to be the tipping point. If we can get 3% of the population to start recognizing that they really have a lot of freedom, then that's what's going to make the difference. So I'm pulling for that.
Yeah, Joe, thank you. All right, well, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day to be with us here tonight. I'm sure we'll have many more inspirational things from Joe, and if you'd like to join us at the Assembly, we meet on Wednesdays. I'm not going to tell you because it's a secret location. But thank you so much. We're so happy to be here on the show, and thanks for coming in. We'll see you again.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it. All right. Awesome, guys. Wow.
It's a Golden Road TV show. It's a Golden Road TV show.
Golden Road explores the intersection of arts, environment, culture, health, peace, justice, science, and technology.
It's a Golden Road
back. And again, big props to Joe Bonamolo for coming out tonight, talking a little bit about the Nevada County People's Assembly, which actually assemblies are starting in counties all across the country right now. People who are waking up to actually their inalienable and human rights. I also want to thank Raina Satori, kind of helping to co-host this tonight. What do you guys think? Right?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, you don't want to look at this all night. So it's nice that we can add some beauty to the beast, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
You could be more beastly even.
I'm working on it.
Just
I
to get the
bought-
hair
Yeah,
messier.
got some lion's feet slippers.
Yeah,
we're
grow
gonna-
the beard out. Just go full on, like just full quarantine chic.
Wow, I'll contemplate that. I'll have to
Yeah.
go back to my teenage years as a deadhead.
Yeah, well, I mean that's totally in right now. Sweatpants, messy hair, grown out beard. That's what
Wow.
everyone's doing. Yeah, that's what's new. That's the new look for 2020.
Good.
Yeah.
I've never really been a trendsetter or follower, so we'll have to see how that plays out in the big scheme of things. So we're about to the end of the show, and again, I want to thank all the people here showing up tonight to help contribute content. And of course, Tara for helping to do the technical side of it. I also want to thank
Thanks,
Ted,
Tara.
helping to be our floor director tonight. And really, it takes a village, and this show is just another expression of our amazing community here in Nevada County and really throughout this whole region. So I just want to acknowledge that last week I got to meet with Joe and Susan from the People's Assembly, and I've had conversations with Raina and Michael. And one of the big issues that we're focusing on right now is about the proposed reopening of the Idaho-Maryland mine.
Boo!
You can all boo. It's a bad idea.
Boo!
That was not staged. My boo button was not working tonight.
Boo!
So, in the age of not being able to have really large live audiences, it's nice to have some life here in the studio. But real quick, just to give you, the proposed mine is going to have underground drilling and blasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the duration of 80 years, causing excessive noise and toxins in our neighborhoods. There's going to be over 1,500 tons of waste rock tailings removed daily, loading onto hauling trucks 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're talking about an estimated annual production of 9,000 tons of greenhouse gases, excessive dust, contamination of our waterways. So if you're interested in doing your part, if you feel inspired to help protect our community here in Nevada County, you can go to either empowernevadacounty.com or to cea-nc.org, and you can get more information. And I'm really happy to be now partnering the Alliance for Resilient Communities, partnering with Nevada County People's Assembly to start generating affidavits for individuals to sign, holding the Board of Supervisors and City Council and other leaders, elected representatives in our community accountable and holding their feet to the fire if they actually approve this mine opening. So power to the people. So we're going to do this. We're going to watch a very short video about the Idaho-Maryland mine, and that'll about bring us to the end of the show. And if you guys can hang out for a minute, we can all update. But I do want to let you know, please go to Golden Road TV and Radio on YouTube. Please share the show. Ask people to subscribe and like it. This is just one show of many that will start aggregating on our bioregional station. And we've even talked about really a peace and justice show, a health show, and other shows that we'll be creating independent but connected to Golden Road TV show. So this is just kind of, again, in our fetal re-emergent state to create more conscious non-corporate media and to help inspire all of you. So we're going to go over right now to the Stop the Idaho-Maryland Mine video. Couple minutes left, and thank you for your patience. Thank you for your attention. And maybe next week we'll orchestrate some more TikTok dances or something. Maybe some poodles eating breakfast or trampoline dancing or something a little more
Trampoline dancing, I
visually
like that.
enticing.
Yes.
But thanks for tuning in. We'll be back just to finish the show. And now over to a piece of Golden Road Media about Stop the Idaho-Maryland Mine from reopening.
me my son. You're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is all the way. Well, sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the abandoned old prison by Adrie Hill, where the air smelled like snakes and we'd shoot with our pistols at empty pop bottles.
So what do you think? I think it's wonderful that we're letting our community know what's going on. We want to protect our neighbors from losing their wells.
Well, thanks for all your work. You really are starting to put it all together, and congratulations on a great turnout today.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it.
My name is Steve Millard. I live up off of Burma, which is probably about a mile away from where we're at right now in front of the mine. I've had concerns about water issues with the wells declining. And I'm not the only one, a lot of people are. We've been through drought situations here, and now they're talking about the mine and the mine reopening. And so my concern is, if you want to get people involved in the process, especially of trying to stop the mining, and they need to have skin in the game. So my idea of skin in the game would be to get the records of where the mine tunnels are that go up underneath people's properties. And so if they could see, here's where the mines are, and there's some of the mine tunnels are close to me, then that would give them skin in the game, because actually from the other mines that failed, we already know that they're very deep underground, and all they have to do is cross some of the rock that creates that the fissures are in, that brings the water up for your wells, and all of a sudden the water table goes down. And also once they damage those fissures, then the mine chemicals that they had used, I don't know, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, whenever those mines were operational, get in the water and they poison your wells. And even if you did have water, you wouldn't be able to use it. So this is a well-known fact of how it goes. But my intention is to get people to realize that it's not an issue on Greenhorn and Bennett. This is an issue that probably affects everybody within a facility, a large area around the facility that they're trying to do, and not just to that one specific place. And so that's the way I think it would be.
So we need to make people aware about that. But also you were saying about local government and boom and bust. We have about a minute left. Can you comment on that?
Oh, yes. I moved here probably 10 years ago. And just prior to that, I actually went to the county and talked to them about a position as a building inspector. I have a degree in that. And they were willing to hire me. However, they had just done some hiring prior to that, and I realized that wasn't going to happen in a timely manner, and plus the salary wasn't all that great. So I had to stay where I was. But then the housing market collapsed, and then they ended up laying off all of the people that they had hired. And that's where I got the idea that this is a boom and bust economy that this county actually operates on. And so that's an issue with them. They don't have a revenue issue, because all of the retirement homes, the people that have retired own homes all the way from here to Auburn, and it's a lot of homes. You actually, if you go on a Zillow website or Trulia, I don't know if that's still in business or not, but you find out that there are many, many, many homes, hundreds of homes that go all the way back from here to Auburn. And so all that revenue from your property taxes comes into this county. If they don't have funds to repair the roads or do anything they're doing, it's because they're operating on boom and bust. And so...
And mismanagement.
Well, and part of that mismanagement would be the same thing that we discussed before about managers' salaries and how they get them jacked up. Actually, CalPERS had told me at one point that the reason for, they call it pension spiking, which isn't the same as what we're talking about, but it's kind of all related, is that they're managers that do that. Only managers can change records and, falsify information that way and do it. It's not rank and file employees ever. And that even 70% of Highway Patrol go out on disability retirement. That's a whole lot of folks.
First of all, I want to congratulate everybody for showing up today. I think this is probably the biggest show of unity and togetherness I've saw in our very eclectic community in a long time. So I want you all to give yourself a pat on the back and a big shout out for showing up. And as you may or may not know, it's going to take more than just doing protests to really make a difference to shut down the potential of the Idaho-Maryland mine from reopening. So I want to give a lot of acknowledgement to who I first met, Michael Shea, and also Christy, and all the people from CEA. Let's give these guys a nice round of applause. They're working on the piece, on a lot of the complicated parts that are part of the legal piece. My contribution has been every week, every Wednesday, I've been holding public meetings in Pioneer Park between 6:30 and about 8 o'clock, and we've been onboarding a lot of people. I want to shout out, there he is, Tony Lorio, who I first met. Did you find your German Shepherd yet, Tony? So, you know, it really, the reason I want to speak is because it's going to take everybody doing whatever you can to stop this nefarious, horrible idea from happening in our community. And it's going to take everybody, whether it's showing up at a protest, getting educated, inviting your best friends and neighbors to the next protest, writing letters, and doing all the various things it takes to have a successful campaign. Right now, I'm currently working in opposition about the Sacramento River Delta tunnels. Now, if you haven't heard about it, that's the big juggernaut that could actually have a huge impact on our entire watershed from Mount Shasta to Sacramento. I've been working on that for 3 years, and we're up against some very powerful forces. How many of you believe that our leadership will naturally and humanistically and compassionately do the right thing? If you think they're going to do the right thing, raise your hand. I want to see the crowd. Show the crowd. How many of you believe that our leadership will do the right thing? Well, there you go. So what we have to do is we have to do what we've always done and hold public town halls, protests, and show our opposition to that. And to tell you the truth, we have to put their feet to the fire of accountability and liability for what they're going to decide on. The fact that 5 people can make a decision that will affect the livelihood of tens of thousands of people is absolutely criminal. It's a broken, old, colonial, corporate base. Our government is a corporation. And under the Constitution, we all have rights to liberty, pursuit of happiness, for clean air and clean water. So what is happening here is not just criminal, but it's absolutely unconstitutional. You guys believe that? So the corporation of Nevada City, the corporation of Nevada County, they are corporations that are trying to exercise dominion and control over our community, because it's going to take all the different aspects, the legislation, the litigation, the activism, and the education. So I just wanted to take a moment to congratulate all of you. Thank you for showing up. This is the first drop of water in a bucket that we have to keep adding to. We know that we all wrote letters, right? We all wrote letters to the Supes to tell them about our opposition. And now we're waiting for the environmental impact review to come back. After that comes back in, we have 45 days for public comment. So we're not waiting for the wave and the lull and the up and down. We have to keep our community engaged. We have to keep everybody educated. That's a lot of work. We have to keep people notified of what's happening. And if it comes down to it, we're going to have to be able to start holding events with literally over 1,000 people. I love the turnout today, but I will say, based on how this will impact our community, I think it's anemic to what we need to do in the future. But I do want to thank Itera, where is she? I want to thank Itera for helping to put this together. I want to thank the collaboration, again, of CEA, of myself holding public forums, also of the Alliance for Resilient Communities, also of Tony, and Michael Shea and Christy and all the people who are showing up. I want to thank this gentleman right here, Jerry Brown. Raise what hand you can, Jerry. Jerry's new to our community, and he was so passionate about this, he put together the talking points on the sheet of paper that everybody needs to know to talk intelligently to stop the mine. We can't just say we don't want it, it's a bad idea. So before I finish, one other person I want to acknowledge right here to my right, he's going to raise his hand. This is Lou Casabianca of the Alliance for Resilient Communities, who create the Empowered Nevada County website. Let's give him a nice round of applause. He has donated hundreds of hours to have a community website where we can put in letters and ideas, and also working, what's important, we have to all work in tandem together. If we all try to do this alone, it's going to be harder to be successful. So there's been a lot of meetings. There's been a very strong core of group that are working together on this. And again, I'm going to testify right now. I'm not counting on anemic, impotent, politically erectile dysfunction leadership to do the right thing. So I want to ask you today, we're starting the movement. Continue to activate people. Send out the letters, educate your community. There's going to be more actions and events coming up. There's going to be a lot of media, radio. We're making our local issue a statewide issue and a national issue, and we're going to bring a lot of attention to what is happening here. And again, we're going to hold the decision makers' feet to the fire, because they are accountable for what happens. Are you in agreement with that?
Yeah!
So we need to hold these people accountable. So I want to thank all of you. Make sure you're part of the communication network through CEA, through the Empower Nevada County. I want to thank all of you for showing up and for finally making a stand. I think this mine actually could be the one thing that galvanizes our community beyond all the division that we've seen over the last few months about masks and no masks and defund and fund and all the different other agendas that are happening. This could be the watershed moment that brings us all together and shows the world the strength and the unity that we have here in this city of gold and light. And I'm not talking gold from the ground. I'm talking hearts of gold, of the people that are here that are willing to make a stand and defend our constitutional and human rights. So thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, Itera. And we hope to see you all soon at the next action.